Greetings to you on this Monday, the 7th week of Easter, May 25th, Memorial Day. Memorial Day itself is certainly a remembrance of those who have been in the armed services defending our freedom in our country. You know that it's gone through a few iterations of exactly how it began. One of them is that on May 5th, early May in 1866, citizens honored the graves of Civil War dead in Waterloo, New York, flying flags at half-mast. And then 2 years later, an organization of Army veterans designated May 30th for the purpose of strewing with flowers or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who had died. And so it became known as Decoration Day. But now we celebrate the Memorial Day on May 30th, the last Monday in May, and we remember those who have died for our freedom, and on this day it becomes a day of prayer for permanent peace in our world, in our lives. We think of those who did this, who joined the armed services, and we certainly know that fear was a part of their experience. Think graphically of the D-Day and Dunkirk, the men and women who were part of that, or any one of the wars really. It is this fear that people have, and yet embrace the purpose and the mission that they have committed themselves to. Mark Link quotes Starbucks from Moby Dick saying that the only men that he wants on his boat are men who are afraid of whales. And if maybe a little bit like myself, you look for something more simple or secular, you might quote John Wayne, who said, "Courage is being scared to death, but saddling up anyway." Jesus knew well that fear was part of the life of the disciples, and so he said to them, "In the world you will have trouble, but take courage. I have conquered the world." Jesus would be with them always. This is for ourselves as well through our baptism. This sacrament for us is a dynamic sacrament, not just an historical one. It's something that happens to us all the time. Parents, you hear these words when your child is baptized. On your part, you must make it your constant care to bring up your children in the practice of the faith. See that the divine life which God gives them grows always stronger in their hearts. And for the children themselves, as Christ was anointed priest, prophet, and king, so may you live always as a member of his body, sharing in his everlasting life each and every day. Barbara Dilley in Creighton University's Daily Reflection from the English department, she writes, "For most of us, living in the Spirit in baptism requires much more faith and devotion than simply living by a set of doctrinal rules." Paul's letter to the newly formed Christian communities seemed often to be about liberating Christians from seeking to define the Christian community by a set of rules to moving them to something higher. This is our own calling to embrace our faith, to trust in God, and to live our faith each and every day. And so on this Memorial Day, we remember those who have gone before us and given their lives for our freedom. Many of us might not be real aware of this, certainly younger folks who have never known war. Father Phil Wallace tells the story of a young lady who was with her father in a memorial service on the deck of a U.S. submarine that was used in World War II and also in Korea. She was bored, but then she said, "I began to think about How many men and women had made the ultimate sacrifice of their lives so that we might all enjoy the freedom that this country offers? Suddenly, I began to cry myself with the realization of what it all meant. All those old sailors, my dad included, standing on the deck of an old submarine, holding the flag with such pride and at the same time sadness. Someone else said that America will only be the land of the free so long as it is the home of the brave. May we ourselves who have been baptized live the baptism that we have received, not letting the fear paralyze us, but letting our faith give us strength.